The third game in the Dark Souls franchise is a game that I really enjoyed. Yes, I say that a lot because I enjoy a lot of the games that I review, but it's also a game where I don't really know what I think of it. First off, I played all the Souls games, well, all the Souls games on PC, so yes, I did not play Bloodborne, but I did play Demon's Souls on my PlayStation, but I did not play Bloodborne because I don't have a PS4. Personally, this game reminds me a lot of a mixture between Dark Souls and Bloodborne. Yes, I have not played Bloodborne, but I have seen footage of it and I have seen and heard other people's opinion on it. And it seems to be a game what seems very much based on dodging, and this game does that same thing. In Dark Souls, dodging was always a thing that you could do indeed, and it was useful, but in this time around I actually feel it in a different way. In Dark Souls 1 and 2 I always used a shield. Yes, I was a pretty fast build who could dodge if I wanted to, but I never really relied on dodging. In this game I almost never used my shield. There were only some enemies where my shield is useful against. Mostly against bosses I just do this. I just keep rolling and rolling for days, and that's how I win these battles. For me it's pretty unexpected that it happens, that is something that you can do as easily as that. But trust me on this, you can, and there's even a ring that gives you more invisibility frames when you roll, meaning that you can simply dodge it down if you want. So in the challenge of this game, I will say that it is still a challenging game, and I don't think that it is off. Bosses are pretty challenging, and well, the first bosses I just rushed through, but a lot of them were kinda difficult. They at least took me a couple of tries. The maximum twice that I had to do was against the Abyss Watchers, and that was like, I think, 6 tries. What is weird because I'm not that great at Dark Souls at all. But like I said, dodging works. I dodge a lot, my build is focused on strength. Yeah, I use a Dark Sword. A lot of people use it, and some people just said, well, use it, it's a good weapon, so I use it. First off, I think that the inventory system, well, it's a lot like Dark Souls 2 system, just works. It's a great system, and there's a great amount of lore in the third game as well. The game also looks good, but the game does look a bit, in terms of design and artistic design in the levels, it looks a bit more like, well, some people say Bloodborne, I don't know, but just less uniqueness there is. A lot of things are just like graveyards and just castles and everything, and yeah, there was in Dark Souls 1, that is the one that I know the most about, there was a lot of that as well, but there were also differences from things like a forest that looks really cool to Blighttown. Yeah, people hate Blighttown. I actually find Blighttown pretty easy to do, but still. In this game I did not really have a lot of difficult parts where I was really like stuck. Most of all, just, you know, you play a boss a couple of times and you win, but I feel like the bosses are really easy in this game. It may just be me, and yeah, but I felt that most of the bosses were not that difficult. The enemies on the other end are pretty difficult in a way, but in a way like Dark Souls 1 in comparison to a way like Dark Souls 2. In Dark Souls 2 there were a lot of sort of traps where they throw tons of enemies at you with quite a bit of health. In this game these enemies, yes, I am going there with a very later character, but still, they die pretty quickly. You don't need that much hits, and you can lure them out one by one. And even if there were a lot of them, there are multiple ways to actually kill them, what is pretty nice. In terms of what I do feel in this game is that there is a lot more spamming of your attacks. Yes, against a lot of enemies who would take a lot of damage, I just do this and this and this and this, and he just gets stun locked and I kill him. That's kinda sad because, well, I always liked hiding behind my shield and using a very heavy weapon like the Zweihander. In this game I don't use that weapon. I use a quick weapon. Yes, it's a strength based weapon, but it's also pretty quick. It does have a pretty, well, not really a high amount of stamina cost, but it does have some stamina cost. But it just works much better than heavy weapons in my opinion. In this game enemies are much quicker. Bosses, everything, they are quick. Enemies do quick attacks and really do a lot of attacks one against each other. And if you get stuck in that attack, well, you're basically screwed a lot of times. This makes you really want to go for a build of quickness. Your shield is useful, but when some bosses hit your shield, you just take about half of the stamina away, while walling doesn't take a lot and it's pretty easy. Like I said, I just spammed it. Overall, I really like the herb area in this game, Firelink Shrine. The herb is pretty good. The second one I think had a pretty good herb, and the first one had as well, but this herb is more like in the terms of Demon Souls, like just a very big herb with lots of NPCs there. That's actually something that I really like, and it really works in this game. The herb is just pretty good looking, and the soundtrack in this game is again very good. The second one didn't have a bad soundtrack, I just felt it was a bit less memorable, while this soundtrack is again very great. And I will probably not forget it. But it's something that I really like, because I always liked the soundtrack in the Souls games. And this game still has a good one. The first thing that I noticed was when I got into the main menu, just the title screen. That soundtrack sounds so cool and epic, and also pretty sad. And that's this whole game, and that's again a more of a sad, well, sort of story to it. What is actually pretty understandable, if you at least look at what happens. The game is just really fun to play, and I think that it is, in terms of controls and everything, yeah, it's just a very smooth game. People talking about the performance, for me it does perform well, but yeah, that is something that some people have problems with, and if you have that, I find it kinda sad for you, because, well, I actually really like a lot of parts about this game. But yeah, the dodging thing is something, like, I'm better at dodging than I am at blocking. But in this game it's just not that difficult. It's fast, and you really want to get that quick wall. Like fat walling, you still can get it, but I wouldn't recommend it, because in a lot of areas dodging is just really useful. The game also has a lot of areas in it, and while the areas kinda look the same, what is sad, they all have this sort of grayish vibe to it. You know, there's no real bright area or something, or like greenish like that Blighttown had. Yeah, there's not a lot of that, and that is kinda sad. The enemy design is, I like it, but there are some enemies where I'm just like, it reminds me of Bloodborne. Look, I haven't played Bloodborne again, but I've seen enemies, and like when you get enemies with like pitchforks coming after you, it just reminds me of Bloodborne. It just does, because that game had these enemies as well. But that isn't the biggest problem. I think the bosses are memorable, and especially in comparison to the second game. I mean, the second game I forgot almost everything about. I just didn't like it, and I didn't like how a lot of bosses just had multiple people with them. That was a thing that I really hated. Like, you don't really want that in a game, I think. Yeah, 1v1 bosses are fine, but if you put a different character in there, what is also going to help the boss, yeah, it kinda sucks. It's not that this game has none of it, but it has very little of it. And when it does, they are fair. There are also some sort of bosses that are very, like, mechanical based, like in a way that you need to know how to kill them. You will see it easily, but that's only, they are very gimmicky. They are not that difficult. It's just, if you know how to beat them via that way, you can simply beat them very easily. That isn't something awful, I think, but that's just something that you gotta remind yourself of. There are also, again, a lot more bonfires around. What I like, I think that it's a good thing. And in terms of like the challenge, I don't think there's anything wrong with having tons of bonfires around. There are a lot, and after every boss fight, or almost every one of them, you actually get a bonfire, what is nice. I think it also has a great amount of weapons and everything, and well, honestly, if you like the Souls games, you will probably like this game as well. I just was in the beginning I was really bad, because I didn't really know about the walling. You don't get a 100% physical block shield, so you're going to take a bit of damage every hit you take. But then I learned about rolling, and I just was rolling for days. Yeah. There's also something that I noticed, is there are a lot more mimics in this game. I mean, there were never that many mimics. In this game there are a lot of mimics, but I just had a tip, keep that in mind, attack the chest. But That's okay. I've also actually not seen iron chests. Yeah, these were in Dark Souls 2. I don't remember if they were in the first one, but they are not here either. You again start with pretty little Estus, what is something that I actually like, and you gotta find Estus around, you gotta find these shards and upgrade your Estus flask. This was something that I always really liked as an idea. Basically, there's a real reason to explore, because, well, getting Estus is very important. You can also again find undead bone shards to upgrade or, reinforce your flask so it takes less, it gives you more health back with one use. What is really nice, I like all these little things of attention that they have. Like, it works. A lot of it just works. I mean, the weapons, like, I have a ton of them, you see, and the same goes with rings. There's just so much to do in this game, and that's really something that I like about the games. I mean, this is a good game if you want to get in the Souls series. While I do really recommend the first one, it just has some issues, and, well, this game seems to do pretty good. I haven't really done a lot with the Covenant system, so I don't know a lot. I've also not found a lot of them. I don't know a lot about them. I don't like it that you just a lot of times just find the item without anything to it. Like, that is something that I really do not like. I don't like it where we just don't get a lot of explanation about the Covenant. There are NPCs in this game who all have the story, and there are some sort of side quests, but honestly I wouldn't really talk about the side quest that much, because, well, while I actually like them, one of the side quests I wanted to complete, well, let's just say it's simple, I fucked it up. I did something wrong in the wrong order. What is really stupid, I went to an area faster than the NPC, so he was not at the other area that was before the bonfire. So basically I skipped a part of his thing, but by skipping it you still get the dialogue that he's actually going to help you, but he then never shows up. This is something that I think is stupid, and I don't really know why it is in this game. I think they should have explained it a bit more. I knew nothing about the whole side quest thing. Yeah, he told something, but he never says, oh, I want you to do this or this. You just gotta be lucky to check a location where he is. Honestly, I don't really like that idea. I like the references to, well, a lot of times Dark Souls 1, and yeah, I like this game just really, and even in terms of areas, there are just some areas what are just made for the sort of idea of trying to please the fans, but that ain't bad at all. I actually kinda like it. Yeah, I like the Dark Souls 1 the most in a lot of ways. In this game, again, is just, I would recommend you to get it. It is a game where you need to have quite a bit of patience with, and you gotta keep playing. Like, if you're going to lose, like, say a couple of times to a boss, you don't want to give up. But then when you defeat the boss, you will get a great feeling, and that's still in this game. Like, I don't see where it is that easy. I see that some things are a bit easier, but I don't see where this game is not difficult. And I think it's not the difficulty that does it for me in the Souls games. It's more that, while I do think they are pretty difficult, I also think that they, at least the first one, just had a lot of challenging things to it. What I like about it, it wasn't only difficult, it was also fair in its way. Yeah, the second one for me didn't really do that. It's not that the second one isn't a good game or anything, it's just a lesser game for me. And while some people say it's a better game, that is okay. If you think that, I don't. I think, like, PvP, but I don't do a lot of it. I heard that it's better, but like I say, I don't do a lot of this. Also, I don't summon like NPCs or anything, or also not online players, because I think, at least for the first playthrough, I want to do it like solo. I think that NPCs just make it pretty easy, and honestly, doing it solo, I had not a lot of trouble. Like, many people have trouble with the dancer, but I beat that boss pretty quickly and didn't find it that difficult at all. But it's weird because people say it's difficult. I have not completed this game yet, so there is, I don't know how much to do, but I think I got like 13 hours in this game, and I'm like level 70. And I haven't really, like, I don't really farm in these games. In a way, I don't, but in a way I do. Like, farming is something, like, it's not something that I do a lot. Like, I went to one area, I was farming for large Titanite to upgrade my weapon, and that was the only place I actually did farming. For the rest, I just killed the enemies and did the things to upgrade my character. Yes, I did burst all these boss cells, or I think I made like one weapon because I didn't really care, because I had this weapon, the Dark Sword, and I think I can use the whole game. Like, the damage is great. It's a fun to use weapon as well. And I actually, if you're having trouble, I can actually recommend this weapon in a way, but people are talking about, like, some people saying, oh, I want it to get nerfed. I don't really agree with that. Like, personally, I think if they're going to nerf it, this weapon is going to be bad. At the moment it's good, but because the game is so fast, I don't see a lot of reason to use heavy weapons. And that's the biggest sort of thing with it, is I don't really use want to use heavy weapons. Well, in other Dark Souls games, I always use really heavy weapons, and I always had heavy armor or like a massive shield because I needed that poison. In this game, I don't really have seen a lot of the boys things. Like, I don't really care. I got this armor because I think it looks pretty good, and I just got enough amount of weight to actually fast roll. I got the shield. I could have just not have a shield, but I have it in case. Like, there are absolutely enemies where the shield is useful. Like here, I will say the shield is useful. It is useful in spots, because like some of these smaller enemies, they don't deal that much of stamina away. But honestly, I think I recommend this game. I just do. I think that if you like the Souls games, you will probably like this game as well. And I think that a lot of people wanted to live up to the first one, but I also think that even if it would live up to the first one, like, the first one had problems of its own, I feel, and while I really like that game, this game does a great job at it as well. Like, I think that there are some things that I don't know why they are gone. In all honesty, I do not know why you can't upgrade armor. Like, let's actually look how many Titanite things I have. I just have too much, and I'm not going to do anything with it. It's as simple as that. I just won't, because why would I? Why would I? The game just why would I use a different weapon? This weapon works, and honestly, in Dark Souls, I always, like in the first one, I rushed to this Zweihander. I two-handed that weapon and just went all out, just upgraded that weapon and used it through the whole game. So yeah, I did that. In Dark Souls 1, I started with like the battle axe, and then towards the large or giant club. Like I say, I didn't play a lot of the second one. I don't think the second one is that great as a game, but it's absolutely not one of the worst games. Like, I like all the games. I would love to play Bloodborne, but I ain't gonna buy a console for it, and if it's 30 FPS, I don't like that. I feel that 60 FPS, also in this game is 60 FPS, and I feel like in the port side, like, I think it's a pretty good looking game. It's not the best looker, but it does its job, and it's just that some people have problems with it and some people have not. Like, for me it runs good, but I'm not running this on the highest setting, so keep that in mind. But for me, this game is just, it runs good. It absolutely does the job in graphics, and there are absolutely some areas where it looks pretty good, but like these enemies I talked about, like these enemies, they seem a bit weird for me. Well, because like they're like farmers. They just feel a bit different. So like here I showed you kinda how you're basically going to, like, spamming is something that you just do a lot, and you can get them in the stun lock, and it's useful because they can get you in a stun lock as well, because like you want to be fast, you want to hit them first, because if they're going to hit you, they're going to drain stamina. And like I say, like this is one of the beginning areas, so I ain't that high level, but I don't want to spoil anything of the game. Like I am going to play in some of the higher end areas, because for me this game is just like playing it with like with a walkthrough for me